Hey guys, it's GirlGotGame. Welcome back to London Detective Mysteria, where we are here to do Jackie Boy's Epilogue, Her Secret Ring. I'm excited and also got a little bit of trepidation going into this. I don't know what's gonna end up happening. I'm curious if our boy's going to don his blades yet again, or if that's all behind him now. And what exactly is the secret ring? Let's go see our dapper boy and find out what's happening with this epilogue. And what's going to happen to my heart. Oh. 1 month. 2 months. The hours, days, and weeks pass as they would in times of terror or joy. But in this instance, Jack the Ripper's terror was ended, and the people of London became well rested. My time, considerably not suited for rest, was now split between attending Harrington Academy and establishing a place for educating the children of the East End. Thank you ever so much for your help with the school, Spencer.
Think nothing of it. Leaving the building empty would have given the prostitutes reason to keep using it. I rather like that my kid can study here, too. The textbooks that were donated have arrived, my lady, so I gathered them inside for you.
Thank you. Would you be so kind as to put them on the shelf for me, Jack? But where is the best spot for them?
I think the bookcase at the back would be nice. The bottom shelf is empty, so you could put the ones on the alphabet there. Would allow the small children to reach them.
That's a wonderful idea. You're so considerate, Jack. Oh, he's even got a new sprite. Stop. Stop, my heart. He looks so good.
No, that ain't true.
You two are the portrait of a husband and wife.
Why would you tease about that if you're so insistent on them not getting married, Pendleton? That's just cruel. Goodness, Pendleton. I know it's true, but to hear you say it out loud is another matter altogether. Aw, the blush. Oh, he looks so... This blush looks so much better on him now than the old blush did. Oh, it looks so much better.
I feel a bit awkward now.
Our life now is like a dream, isn't it? You just had to say that. Abrupt music stop. Oh, she was dreaming all that? No, my heart. Oh, by the way, good morning, Mr. Mackenzie. It's been a long time.
Pardon, Miss Whiteley. You are in class.
Oh, right. I forgot about Giant Watson.
She's out like a light. Look at that smile, too. It must be some dream she's having. Good lord. I suppose we'll have to fetch him yet again.
Is he just here? Is he not in school? Like, is he not a classmate and he's just there to be like, yo, Emily, wake up?
My lady, please wake up. If you're not up within 5 seconds, I shall toss your dessert into the bin.
What? No! Oh, good, you're back to school. I like that you're still, like, you in your old school uniform here. Phew. That's a relief. Wait. Have I?
You fell asleep again.
Drat. Could you not have woken me in a more conventional manner? Like a kiss on the cheek or something? Not, I'm gonna throw your dessert in the bin. Been hanging around Pendleton too much, Jack.
I've learned hiking your dessert is the best way to go about it.
Jack, having completed various tasks required of him as a butler to the Whiteley family, was granted permission to continue his studies at the academy. Hooray! The details of how he obtained permission eluded me. The credit belonged wholly to Pendleton, but when I pestered him for details, his mouth remained adamantly closed. Although, time out. How does this work? Pendleton said, as far as London's concerned, you died. there are other classmates in this school that have no eyeballs, granted, but I'm sure they can tell Jack is very much not dead. So, how did we swing this? I'm not unhappy that he's back in school, but I'm just like, how did we swing... He died, but not really, and he's stuff and things.
I'm awake, but life now is still a dream to me. He was given the death penalty, but here he is, alive and able to study with me again.
It's funny how the world changes. Jack's the one to wake Emily now, but he used to be the one to sleep through class. Ah, but his grades were always rather high, unlike yours. That's true. That last bit hurts me, though.
Hey, our Eastern boys are back! Good to see you! Man, where were you for all of that?
He's smarter than he looks, that Jack. I wonder if he's even smarter than you, Akachi.
That I do not know. I am encouraged by how he's mended his indolent ways since returning, however. Class, the lesson isn't over yet. Now, if everyone could pay attention.
Poor Mr. Mackenzie. He's a little too understanding.
We've got quite a bit to do even after school is done, don't we? Today's tasks are...
First, I shall escort you to Bow Road directly to inspect an old church. Permit me to carry your bags.
Now, I told you not to be so stiff on Academy grounds. We're schoolmates, aren't we?
Sorry.
There was no hiding the remorse in his features as he followed me out of the classroom.
Why won't you walk at my side, Jack?
'Cause it's easier to do me job from here. You will always be in my line of sight.
But it's a queer sight to others if we walk single file like this. We aren't soldiers. Oh, look! See? Everyone is staring. Did Pendleton put you up to this?
It was my idea. I'm not one to show my back to the enemy, and I'm proud to have found a way so that neither will you.
Pardon, but I wasn't praising you. I do know your reasoning comes from the heart, of course. So for that, thank you. I like that part of you.
What's brought that on? We'll be light if we keep at this. Up to it!
What? Wait! Don't push me!
Come on. Keep up or you might trip.
What's gotten into you, Jack? Jack! Now he's being the complete opposite of stiff. Could that have brought this on?
Jack is one lucky bloke. I wonder if I'll ever look back at my younger years as fondly. If you don't finish that report, I will see to it that you won't live long enough to look back on your younger years. Oh, right! And don't say something like that.
Poor Watson, still getting dunked on.
The evening was an enjoyable one, accompanied by an after-meal cup of tea.
Aww. Look at that disapproving Pendleton. These two are giving each other secret smiles and stuff.
The tea is delicious, Jack. It's Prince of Wales, yes?
Yes, I'm happy you like it.
The orange scones and acacia honey are absolutely delectable. They complement the tea perfectly.
I'm honored you think so highly of them.
Do you have something you'd like to say, Pendleton?
Yes, I do. You are too lenient with him, my lady. He is still unrefined in his manner to have earned the degree of praise you shower upon him.
I disagree. I find him to be remarkably dignified. The tea he brews is comparable to yours in quality as well. You have done well in your instruction.
Thank you for the compliment. By the by, I have both good news and bad news to present. Which would you prefer to hear first?
The good news, then.
Oh. Already? She's not even graduated yet.
Pendleton.
You have received a formal offer of marriage.
drop. Oh no, Jack looks so sad. Me? Marriage? Me? This was sudden. Too sudden. I was stunned into blank thought. The shaking in my hand was so rousingly violent that by the time my composure was somewhat restored, more tea was on the floor than in my cup. What the heck is that? How old is this guy? I have questions, Pendleton. And all of them being, why would I be interested in this fool when I got a beautiful, sleepy boy in front of me who's not so sleepy anymore?
His name is Kyle Howard, and though he is young, he has made a name for himself as a skilled businessman in the publishing industry. It is only very recently that he has only begun to engage in other philanthropic ventures.
Please! I need a moment. I looked to Jack, who was standing at my side. And he looked at nothing. His expression was calm, as a butler should be. Who's that? Oh, you're Mrs. McCloud. Oh, good grief. People with faces. None of you show up in this route. I'm not going to be kind to you, alright?
He learnt of you through Mrs. McCloud whilst they discussed her own pursuits in establishing your school. She speaks very highly of him, so why not meet in deference to her? It is also just as well that a young woman of the nobility interact with other members in her class.
But...
He is the younger brother of Baron Howard. Upon hearing it, he expressed a great interest in your project to establish a school in the East End. Quite possibly enough interest to assist in funding. This all sounds like wonderful news to me.
It's a bit too wonderful. Well then, let's hear the bad news.
That concerns your school's real estate payment. The deadline draws near.
Oh, that's very sudden.
Yet it is the truth. As your butler, I've worked to manage the family assets in an effort to increase profits. But I fear the school expenditures with our mansion's common costs have placed a strain on the finances.
I understand.
There is also the matter of you being both the head of your household and a woman. Requiring that any suitor of yours give up his own surname and marry into your family is a lot to ask. That alone would be enough to send most men running.
I understand my position, but I simply don't wish to think about marriage.
You may wish it all you like, but now is the time to start.
Pendleton commanded the butler's manner of detachment much more strongly than Jack. Not through a face devoid of expression, but through words that cut deep. It equipped him with a callousness he knew could hurt, and he wielded it now as needed.
My lady, you must be ever conscious of your role as the head of House Whiteley. Don't you agree, Jack?
For a brief second, his inexperience was exposed through wide eyes. It was so quick that I could have tricked myself into believing he never made such a face.
I quite agree.
Jack, you...
If it does you no displeasure, my lady, I've work that needs tending to, and will have to excuse myself.
Oh, Jack! He retired swiftly with his head down. There he goes. What an awful mess. Pendleton, bring me those papers.
Of course. I've the papers regarding Mr. Howard right here.
I don't care for that. I want the list of children enrolled in workhouses that I put together. It should be in my room, so kindly get it for me. Talks of marriage can wait till later. I didn't want to look at potential suitors now. It was nonsense, this suitor business. Pendleton, thankfully, brought me the papers I'd asked for with all due haste, and I went to work spreading them across the table.
If you continue with that terrifying pout, Jack won't be the only man in London sent running.
Why don't you run away too, then?
I think I will. Your mood leaves much to be desired.
He retired as well, a frightful grin that lectured me more than words upon his lips. I quite agree, he says. How could you, Jack? I know that he's a servant, but he could have said something. He's stuck, Emily! He's so stuck! Run away with him, you fool! Fly! Fly, you fools! A good night's rest did nothing for my mood. Marriage was a heavy burden, and my mind was fully anchored down despite longing to think of anything else. Yet, anchored or freed, my routine was not to change, and so I brought the subject to my friends. Alright, guys. What you got for me?
My, he wishes to go straight to marriage.
So it appears. I've not given him an answer yet.
I know you're of the nobility, but it feels too soon for you to marry. Not at all. She is almost 17, and noblesse oblige compels her to be a role model for society.
Yeah, I mean, Holmes is right. Technically. But... my girl, she's too young yet. Wait. Hold on, everybody, wait. Oh, Kobayashi.
Nobu desu obure?
Noblesse oblige. It is a concept that those of wealth and power must act as a proper example for society as a whole. Those who follow it have fine families, and may willingly contribute towards the betterment of their people.
I think Miss Whiteley is a very fine lady. She won't have any trouble finding a man to marry.
What about you, Jack? What about what? Why are you staring? You know what and why. It isn't exactly my place to say, but how do you feel about all this? I don't care.
Oh my, Watson is so angry about this. She loves you, you fool! How can you not care? I would have so many things to say. I would fight this man with my fisticuffs.
Enough to never regret it if you don't do anything about it.
With nothing to keep us once lessons were finished for the day, Jack and I left the school building. Only something was to keep him. An unidentified something. He stopped.
Wait.
What is it?
I left something in the classroom. I'll be back in a minute, so wait here.
I'll come with you.
No, you can't. Just wait. Over here, then. Point your back this way. That's good.
This is just silly. You worry far too much. He ensured my back was to the wall and that I was standing in a position where the Academy's guards were able to see me before disappearing within the grounds. I listened to the northern wind. The trees rustled in response, and to hear it brought me a lonely unease. I like things as they are now. Why can't we stay like this forever? My feelings haven't changed. I want to have faith that his haven't either. Why am I not allowed to know the answer for sure? Crows cackled, flying across the evening sky to announce the day's end.
My apologies for keeping you.
No, I didn't mind.
Very well. We'd best be off.
The horse pulling the carriage neighed handsomely to set the journey off. So it was that Jack and I were reunited in a carriage that once felt much more spacious, now ponderously lacking, even when we sat opposite of one another. He said nothing, preferring the view from the window to my company. Look at that, Jack. How did you get blood on... With caution, I extended my hand to his. He nearly slapped his face with the speed he moved to touch it. Jack opened his eyes wide, for he knew right then that it was a ruse. There was no blood. That he was so quick to act, however, told me everything I needed to know. What dangerous thing had he done? What wrong had he committed? I knew it. You thought there might very well be blood, didn't you?
You were bluffing.
Yes. I wanted to test your reaction. Forgive me, but this does mean you're...
No. It's just a force of habit.
Jack's fingers still had yet to become plump with healthy meals. Perhaps he would always be a dreadfully thin person, with dreadfully thin fingers that turned bone white when squeezed with irritation as they were now. He refused to meet my eyes.
I hope your meeting with that suitor goes nicely.
Why would you say that?
I said nothing about it.
Ain't no harm in a meeting with the chap. I want you to have a good life. That's all I want.
To speak of it so calmly pierced my heart. How? How could I have prepared for this? In what way did I deserve this? I had to work to keep my voice steady from the anger that built within me.
I don't need your blessing on my getting married. Why?
Try not to look like such a fright.
I'll look it as much as I want now. You know how I feel, don't you? You know that I love you. Every day. I tell you every single day. But ever since that night, you haven't said it back to me once.
I love you. I'm playing nuts over you. There. That enough.
You're making it sound as if I forced you to say it.
I'm just a servant to you. I talk as myself at school because that's what you ordered me to do.
You can't mean that. Please, tell me that isn't how you feel. Tell me that it's a matter of our social classes. Can't you?
No. A man's feelings can change over time. That's why I'm not saying what you want.
How?
Oh man, no, not like this. Not like this. Before I could control the urge, I slapped him.
How dare you? Are you pretending to be someone you're not for my sake? Don't you make a fool out of me!
My palms stung from the strength I had put into it. But he was emotionless. I looked more hurt than he.
Are you happy now?
God! Just suit yourself!
For the rest of our journey, we exchanged nothing. Not a comment, not a question. I simply felt anger towards Jack. Or not so simply, for I was distraught at having lost something important to me as well. The two conflicting emotions swirled in my head with the constancy of a vortex, granting me a dizzying emotional fever I found difficult to bear. Alicia was the one to assist me in changing upon my return home.
Welcome home, my lady. You're back early today. Is something troubling you? Did you... Dear, you didn't quarrel with Jack, did you?
It hardly qualified as quarreling. Rather, Alicia, you look flushed with happiness.
Do I?
May I ask something? Do you have a lover?
Well, my lady, what's brought that on? Though I regret to answer that I have no one.
But you have someone you fancy?
With respect, I am a loyal servant of this family.
Oh, but everyone falls in love. You must turn heads with how pretty you are, Alicia. There has to be some man out there who's caught your fancy.
Will you not swear not to repeat this to anyone?
Of course, I won't tell a soul.
Aw, who's this sweet boy?
Look at the sweet boy.
It's the milkman, Wallace. He's such a sweet person, and I'm charmed by that shy smile of his.
I know him. He's the young man that comes by with that handcart every morning. He seems to be quite popular with the maids in the kitchen as well.
Indeed. He lifts my spirits every time I see him. We've spoken quite a bit, and he recently invited me to go to a restaurant with him on one of my days off.
You're a beautiful person, so it isn't any wonder to me he would take a shine to you.
Beg your pardon. It's not right to talk about personal matters like this whilst I work. You really won't tell anyone, will you? As the head maid, none of this is particularly appropriate of me.
You needn't worry. I would never forbid the family servants from falling in love. I should think you should worry more about what Pendleton would say. He would never stop teasing you if he knew.
That won't do. Why, the matter were brought up suddenly. I may drop a plate or make some other mistake. Please, I ask that you keep it very secret.
Oh, it very much will be.
I'm in your debt, milady.
After excusing herself properly, she retired from my room to do more laundry.
She's so lucky. She can love and marry anyone she wants. I suppose there are some things she can't do that I can, however. I can attend school at the very least. A pity that the world is yet to be a place of true freedom. Pendleton, I have chosen to meet with Mr. Howard.
Have you? To what do I owe this change of heart?
Mrs. McCloud has been a great counsel to me throughout my endeavors. It wouldn't do to reject this act of kindness on her part. You mentioned he was interested in educational investments too, didn't you? Perhaps we'll suit one another.
I'm glad you made up your mind. Will you be seeing him Sunday, then?
Yes. I'm only agreeing to meet with him, however. That's all.
That's all she says. Sunday arrived. We gathered for afternoon tea in the immaculate garden of the McCloud mansion. To couple this garden was the sun, which beamed unobstructed by clouds or any sort of foul weather. It was the perfect setting for the occasion.
You don't know the joy it brings me to have inspired this meeting. Miss Whiteley, Mr. Howard, I confess I've always suspected the two of you would make for a smart match.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Mr. Howard.
The pleasure is all mine, Miss Whiteley. I see you are every bit as lovely in person as I have been led to believe.
My prospective marriage partner greeted me with a smile. It was sincere, as was he, I'd soon notice after our introduction. His actions were poised for wealth and still befitting a good man who had to earn my affections. There was courtesy in the way he stood, the way he seated himself after he assisted me, the way he conducted himself in the presence of unknown company. I should make this plain before we take this further, but I lost my parents at a young age. Once I'm graduated from school, I intend to formally inherit the family name.
You intend to have me marry into your family rather than you to mine? I find that agreeable. I am the second son of the Howard family, as you may have heard, so to be adopted by House Whiteley is of no concern to me. And if it gives you some peace of mind, I lost my parents during my school years also. I have some idea of how you must feel. I truly am grateful to Mrs. McCloud for arranging this, and allowing me the honor of speaking with you.
Oh my, you mustn't think so highly of me. He didn't so much as flinch upon the idea of giving up his name.
What unexpectancy! I had come here to surprise him as a woman of free thought, but he surprised me more by being exactly as I hoped to proclaim. Indeed, this was no act on his part. He was a true progressive gentleman whose mind was constantly craving new ways in which he may grow richer through humanitarian efforts.
He is an impressive man, isn't he? There are so few gentlemen in this world who would accept your condition without giving it a second thought.
I'm at a loss. If this conversation ends on the assumption that we'll be married...
Well, we ought to leave the two of them alone.
A fine thought. I shall be over there if you need me, my lady.
The two stepped away, leaving just Mr. Howard and me. Please be a bad guy. Please?
Oh goodness. I've no idea how to behave with an older man.
Please, relax. I've no particular expectations. Would it trouble you if I mentioned your interest in educating the children of the East End?
He smiled again. It was still as sincere as the first one he gave me.
I wouldn't mind. You see, I am in the midst of establishing a school where children without means can eat and study.
What a difficult task that would be! And yet it is one absolutely worth doing.
Truly? He agreed with my idea. To hear it from another, a stranger, gave me genuine pleasure. He's just too accommodating, all right? I'm suspicious of him.
At this moment, I am drawing up a list of all the children in workhouses. This is not so simple a thing as it may sound. There are many who have run away or lost their lives without any record of their deaths. For the list to be thoroughly complete, there is much research to be done.
I find that school isn't just a place for academic studies, but a place to learn about society and the world as a whole over a healthy meal. If the people don't have at least a minimal amount of education, they cannot take control of their futures. Schooling is a necessity for them to head their own destinies, regardless of their parentage and social class.
It was through Her Majesty's generosity that I've been able to attend school. It's afforded me so much more potential than I could have dreamt, and I now want to share that, however small, with the children of the East End.
You are very much ahead of the times in your thinking, I must say. Everyone in the world has the right to an education. Where they were born, when, who their parents were, man, woman. These are trifles and are not an excuse to deny such a vital experience to any one individual. Would it be offensive to ask if it has been hard on your finances to give birth to this idea?
It has been shamefully difficult. As it stands, I do not have enough to see it to completion.
I've heard your family's home was once lost in a fire, so that must not have helped your woes. Miss Whiteley, whether you choose to wed or not, I would like to support your efforts. In places such as France and Italy, I have studied the future of education, so if it isn't too bold of me to proclaim, I may be of assistance beyond money.
What a genuine man. He's considering me beyond marriage, considering my ideas and beliefs on education. He seemed too good to be true. I was convinced he would stand and leave upon hearing that he would have to marry into my family, but far from it. The conceit I've shown. How could I have come here on an impulse? Come here simply because I was annoyed with Jack. This could change the course of my entire life.
Our conversations today have been a delight, Miss Whiteley.
Oh, yes, I think the same.
You are quite clearly a lovely young woman. If it pleases you, I would have us marry as soon as you see fit. But by soon, I do not mean now. Take as much time as you need to consider it. You are at a delicate stage of your own education, and I by no means wish to push you for an answer. Another thing, even if you were to decide against getting married, I would still, quite strongly, like to support your educational venture. I wouldn't want you to feel I'm using that as a bargaining tool for your hand.
Thank you. Very much, I thank you.
You're very welcome. I look forward to hearing your answer then.
I wanted to smile, as he had been so kind to me, but it felt so unnatural for me to do it. I excused myself from a wonderful visit with a wonderful man, an upstanding man, feeling a deep woman's shame from knowing that I could never come to love him. The sun had set when I returned from the McLeod mansion to my own. I mean, good on you, girl, though, for not wanting to lead him on. Because you're like, my heart belongs to somebody else. I'll never love this guy no matter how fantastic he is upon first meeting of him.
Welcome back, my lady.
Good afternoon, Jack.
Afternoon. The stars are out, my lady.
May I ask how it went?
It went well. He is very much a good man, but...
But?
It is nothing. I'm feeling a bit tired, so I'm going to go rest in my room.
Very well.
I fled up the stairs. The guilt was building upon each step.
The first thing I did as I entered my room was slam the door behind me and dive into my bed. Why did my body feel so heavy? If I'd known I was going to feel so guilty, I would have never agreed to meet him. I'm a horrible person. I shouldn't have been so cruel to Jack either.
A knocking came at the door soon after.
May I enter, my lady?
As I had little want to speak, I stood and went to open the door for my guest. There was Jack, a tray with a lovely tea set in hand.
I brought you some tea, in case you'd like some before you sleep.
Jack, you're not angry with me, are...
I'm not angry.
Oh, he's trying to talk more refined. He placed the tray on the table.
If it's not impotent of me to ask again, How was it?
The meeting.
Right. What else is there?
He was taking the matter very close to his heart. He listened to me as I talked to the school with great interest as well.
Aww.
So you'll agree to it?
No, I plan to politely refuse him.
You sure of that?
Yes, very sure.
I nodded, looking up to Jack to see what my words would bring. His eyes were so beautiful, a scarlet like no others, even when masked by his hair, which he still had yet to groom to perfection. Beneath his fringe were beautiful and sad eyes. Aww, my heart.
Thank God.
What?
Emily, I can't take another minute.
Aww, yay, finally. This boy, just run, run. Or Emily, just tell your butler what for. Be the change England needs. Marry outside your class, please. He leapt to wrap his arms around me, to squeeze me till I could no longer breathe. I was still, and he trembled as he held me. By the second, this trembling grew more violent, as one did when weeping.
Jack, you're hurting me.
I was gonna fix it. I was trying to change how much I loved you bit by bit. I swear. But I just can't do it. Sorry. I'm real sorry. All I want is for you to be happy, and that it make me happy too, I thought. But
I don't understand you at all.
I reached to cling to his coat and grant him security.
Why did you make no attempt to stop me? Why did you say you wanted to go nicely? I know that you must if others are present, but Jack, you said such things even when we were alone.
how could I tell you? You want I should stand right here and tell you not to marry all your life?
That's not it. I'm the only one who ever says that I love you. You never say it back to me. These months have been so painful for me. I wondered countless times if you no longer loved me. What if I had to wonder forever? Oh, the curse to my soul it would be to never know. And I thought that was just how it was going to be. If only you would say you love me. I could do anything if I heard that.
Sorry. I really do. I love you so much that it makes me want to cry when it hurts bad enough. And ever since I got to living here, didn't think it was possible. But I love you even more now than I did.
He mumbled in a childish, apprehensive manner, so preciously, so closely that my ears flushed from his voice. He could not hold me close enough, and so with each new mumble he chanced to hold me closer.
I don't want to hurt you, or cause you to make a mistake that'd kill your chances. It terrifies me to think it. I'm terrified of myself for wishing it. What if I held you and that'd be the end of it? What if I wouldn't have no more sense to let you go again?
Is that what you've been thinking? I'd entirely given you the blame for this, and yet you've always had me in your thoughts. I'm never going to marry. So, forgive me. Forgive me, Jack. Please forgive me.
Don't do that. You mustn't cry. Makes it look like I did it.
You aren't crying?
Well, I thought I was. But then you crying so much is like you crying for me. It's calmed me down, I suppose.
Jack soothed my back with his hand, now just the lightest touch, again and again in a rhythm.
I knew the day was gonna come. You getting married off and all. I want to be more gentlemanly for you, but I'm a servant. I ain't ever gonna be able to marry you. Not unless you abandon your family's name.
It won't have to be that way. I shall rebuild House Whiteley so that I never need to marry.
Then I want to help you. Might take time, but I do want to support House Whiteley.
Thank you. But since you have to act the part of a servant in public, will you be with me like this when we're alone? Please?
Of course. I wish I didn't hurt you like I did. I'm sorry, Emily.
No. So long as we can be like this, that's all that matters. That you always look so impassive may work to our favor.
I don't look impassive so much as I always look sullen. And there's something else.
Is there?
He backed away, but a small distance, to present a box that was small enough to fit in the palm of my hand. He opened the lid to reveal its contents.
The secret ring.
I want you to have this.
It's a ring. Are you certain?
When I was getting my first earnings from here, well, couldn't tell you how good it made me feel. The first thing I bought was this.
Oh, this is perfect. I could faint. This is so thoughtful of you. Where did you buy it?
Where? Just a street stall in Covent Garden.
That explains why it looks like an antique.
Aw, let me look at this. My heart.
It looks cheap, you mean? I wanted to give you a present. Then I wondered if it'd look like you were mixing in with the wrong people, if you were seen wearing it and changed my mind. But I couldn't bring myself to chuck it either, so I left it in the desk at school.
Would this be what you went back for the other day?
I figured it was about time I give up on it all. I don't know why I kept holding on to it.
How could you think to throw it out? I'm so happy you gave it to me.
His expression had finally softened with joy.
Do you mind holding out your hand, so I can put it on you?
Please do.
Which finger should I put it on, though?
Well, it's gotta be the ring finger.
All right.
Which I put on the wedding hand. For a man trained to be otherwise, Jack was, when our love was the subject, very clumsy. I thought it a darling quality, and my face burned with bliss as he, more clumsily and meticulously than I ever recalled him being before, slid the ring on my finger. You may kiss your bride. Your secret bride.
Is this all right? Does it fit?
Like a glove. I'm never going to take it off. Do you think it suits me?
I guess. People might get the wrong idea if it's on your left hand. You sure?
That's precisely how I want it. Who gave it to me can stay our secret. I shall treasure the case it's come in too. I'll place it in the back of my
Just as I turned to my desk, I noticed something different.
Wait. Has someone been near my desk? The papers aren't organized the way they should. What was this?
Anytime one of the servants tidied my room, they would place my papers together in a neat stack. Anxiety crept to the corner, and so I moved to open the desk drawer to send it away.
No one has been in to clean my room today, correct?
That's right. It only gets tidied on Mondays and Thursdays. Why?
My workhouse list isn't here. This doesn't make sense. I absolutely had it here.
Uh-oh. Jack and I stepped into the hall to search in another room. I knew that guy was no good.
Is something wrong, my lady? Alicia, have there been any visitors today? I'm not aware of anyone. May I ask why?
Alicia, please look after Lady Whiteley for me.
Jack, what's wrong?
I just remembered some urgent business. I won't be long.
I had no time to react before Jack dashed out of the mansion.